Hello and welcome back to our Python project for beginners. In this video, we will be working on temperature conversions. As you can see, this is the temperature conversion formulas that we'll be using in our Python code. So we will be converting from Celsius to Kelvin, Kelvin to Celsius, Fahrenheit to Celsius, Celsius to Fahrenheit, and so on. So if you're ready, let's get started. Welcome back. So we will be using our Jupyter notebook and we're trying to convert our values to different temperature SI units. So from Celsius to Fahrenheit, from Fahrenheit to Kelvin, from Kelvin to Fahrenheit. So we'll be having 6 functions in total. So let's write the functions. So first we have from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Remember the picture I showed earlier. So this is the calculation. So whatever value we give there, we multiply it by 9, divide by 5, and then we add the result to 32. So we've done from Celsius to Fahrenheit to then convert from Fahrenheit to Celsius. We have another function that does exactly the opposite of this. So here we subtract 32 from the Fahrenheit and we multiply it by 5 divided by 9. And then we move to from Celsius to Kelvin. I know Celsius to Kelvin, you just add 273 to the value. So we have our Celsius plus 273.15. And then when we have from Kelvin to Celsius, which is the opposite, we will subtract 273.5 from our value. So now we have 4 functions. What is left is from Fahrenheit to Kelvin and from Kelvin to Fahrenheit. So this is our function to convert from Fahrenheit to Kelvin. From Fahrenheit to Kelvin, we then take the Fahrenheit to Celsius and then we return the Celsius to Kelvin. So we convert it first to Celsius and then convert it to Kelvin. And now from Kelvin to Fahrenheit, this is what we have from Kelvin to Fahrenheit. Kelvin to Fahrenheit. So when we have our value, I want to convert it to Fahrenheit. We first convert it to Celsius and then convert it to Fahrenheit. Then I want to have my input because I want the user, whoever uses the code, to be able to enter the temperature value that they will want to convert. So there will be 2 inputs. One will be able to input the value, and the second we want to be able to input the units of that value. So first I'm using my input. I know I'm choosing it to be float because in normal sense we have temperature with a decimal point. So this will take in the temperature value that the users input. But when you input a value, I need to know the SI unit of that value that you're trying to input. So then I would have another input to take the SI unit of the value. So I want the user to be able to enter the unit, either the temperature value that was inputted the first time was Celsius, Fahrenheit, or Kelvin. So now if I've gotten the value, this is where I use my if statement. I want to be able to determine if it is Celsius, then I want it to be able to convert Celsius to Kelvin and Celsius to Fahrenheit. And then if the person chose Fahrenheit, I want to be able to convert Fahrenheit to Kelvin and Fahrenheit to Celsius. And if they choose Kelvin, I want to convert Kelvin to Fahrenheit and Kelvin to Celsius. So I would have 4 if statements. And then if they entered the wrong values, I want them to know that they've entered the wrong value. So this is my first if statement. If the unit that was entered in the input is Celsius, then I want to have the Fahrenheit temperature. So I want it to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So taking our function, so once you enter your value and your SI units here, so if it is Celsius, we have made it to lower. So no matter what they enter, it's going to be in lowercase. So if it is Celsius that is entered, then it goes to our function, our Celsius to Fahrenheit function, and then it's computed. And it also goes to our Celsius to Kelvin, and then computes the result, and then it prints out the result. But what is the same thing if it is Fahrenheit or if it is Kelvin that was entered in the SI unit. That is so similar to it. If the unit is Fahrenheit or if it's Kelvin, then it goes back to this function, computes the result, and then print out the result for the rest. But what if the user then inputted something wrong or wrong text or something? I want to be able to like prompt a message that the wrong value was entered. So that will be my else statement. So if a wrong value is entered, then you get invalid unit. So now let's run our code. So I run this, enter your temperature value, and then I enter 20. 20 is my temperature value. But then what is the SI unit of this 20? What does this 20 mean? Is it in Celsius? Is it in Fahrenheit? Or is it in Kelvin? And this is in Celsius. So 20 degrees Celsius. And then when you click enter, we should get the temperature equivalent in Fahrenheit and in Kelvin. So when you run this, you see this is what 20 degrees Celsius is in Fahrenheit and what 20 degrees Celsius is in Kelvin. Remember, our Kelvin is 273. So 273 plus 20 is 293. You can also try it for others, but so let's say 25, and then I put like maybe I wrongfully spelled this, and then we get that invalid unit. Enter the correct unit. We run this again, and then 30, and then Celsius, and then you get your equivalent in Fahrenheit and in Kelvin. So this is the simplest method to create a temperature converter, converting from the three SI in between the three SI units. You're able to collect the temperature, allow the user to input the temperature, and also input the unit of the temperature, and then you convert it to the other two units. Let me know what you think and